Welcome to Storytimer. Terri Joann Darlington. Terri Joann Darlington was 14. She lived in the Five Points area of Mooresville, Indiana, with her mother and grandmother. Mooresville is just south of Indianapolis. As you leave Indianapolis and travel into Mooresville today, it's hard to tell the difference. But the businesses and homes that connect the two now were not there then. There would have been a buffer zone of rural wooded land. Terri Darlington went missing from her home on September 16th of 1975. I did not find any articles discussing her missing status. There were no human interest stories detailing the searches or the anguish of family members. Those sorts of news stories would come along later in the 1980s. I imagine that it was assumed by police that she had run away. Her family, however, were missing her, and they were worried because they officially reported her missing on September 16th. I'm sure they were searching and beside themselves despite the lack of news stories. Weeks and then months went by. It was almost Thanksgiving before there was any news, but it was not good. A badly decomposed body was found in a cornfield near the old Weir Cook Airport in Indianapolis on November 18, 1975. Animals had eaten away at the hands. The head was found 41 feet away, and animals had eaten away some of the flesh from that as well. Clothing and jewelry were found on and near the body. There were several missing girls and women in Indiana and the surrounding states at the time, so the remains, clothing, and jewelry were compared to those descriptions. Cheryl Bolin, 11 years old, had disappeared in August from Monrovia, Indiana. This body was not her. The clothing did not match and the height was wrong. Cheryl would not be found until 1976, discarded in a field near Terre Haute. I cannot imagine the feelings of the families when they hear that a body had been found. Did they hope it's their child? Do they hope it's not their child? I imagine they would feel terrible either way. I don't know how a parent survives that kind of loss. The family of Terri Joann Darlington positively identified the clothing and jewelry of this victim. Her shirt was said to be white with blue flowers at the neck and cuffs. In the photo that I was able to find of Terri, she appears to be wearing that very blouse. She had been wearing a turquoise bracelet and a turquoise ring, and those were found near the body. Things hadn't been going well in the years leading up to 1975. Terri had lived in foster care. She had attended middle school on the west side in Pike School District. She had enrolled in high school in Noblesville for 1 year. Then she had joined her mother and grandmother in Mooresville and attended school there. She had only been attending classes for a few days when she disappeared. Terri's mother had moved in with Terri's grandmother before Terri also joined them. What was the family dynamic that prompted Terri and her mother to flee the family home? Could they have feared a family member? Could this family member have something to do with Terri's death? The description of the way the body was found mentions a jacket with one sleeve tied in a knot. Was this possibly used to strangle Terri? Could it have been left on her neck and come away when animals and decomposition separated the head from the body? Why is that one sleeve tied in a knot? Because Terri disappeared near Mooresville, I immediately thought of Steven Judy as a suspect. Steven Judy raped and murdered Terri Lee Chasteen and murdered her 3 young children in Mooresville in 1979. He strangled Chasteen to death with her own clothing. I wrote about her story in a previous blog post. Could Steven Judy be responsible for this murder as well? There is no description of the position and condition of Terri Joann's other clothing, so we can only assume rape was the motive here. Terri Joann Darlington and Terri Chasteen looked quite a bit alike in life. Some serial killers do have a preferred victim type. Terri Joann Darlington was only 14. She deserved to be living the life of a high school freshman. She deserved to enjoy a long life. She never got to finish high school, study, and explore her own interests. She should still be with us. Rest in peace, Terri Joann Darlington.